I'm super excited about this call because I think it's something that we all need to work on and prioritize in our life, particularly us, because I think sometimes we get very caught up in our self-care is our business. So it takes away from the self-care aspect and just turns into the business a lot of times. And we need to remind ourselves that it's actually good to step away from, Instagramming everything, storying every aspect of our self-care, because it is our self-care. So it is our time with ourselves. I also want to encourage you guys. A lot of people have been reaching out to me in the last week, frustrated, feeling stuck, feeling like they're doing more in their business than they've ever done, but they're not seeing more results and feeling frustrated. So I want to try to encourage you to step outside your box a little bit and maybe use this call on self-care to expand your network and fill your funnel. So what I mean when I say that is, why not come up with something where you focus on something that maybe you're struggling with and turn it into a free opportunity for other people to join you. For, like, maybe it's a free 5-day group on gratitude. Maybe it's a free 5-day group on meal prep. Maybe it's a free 5-day group on giving yourself 5 minutes every night before you go to bed to take deep breaths, to meditate, to pray, to journal, to read a book or listen to a book or whatever it is. Because I know some of you right now are thinking, I don't have time for that, Lindsay. I don't even know the last time I picked up a book. Well, I was just telling Skylar, I haven't been able to pick up a book either. So you know what I did? While I was painting my bathroom today, I'm listening to my book on Audible. And I totally understand, like, I can't listen to a business book on Audible because I need to be able to take notes or highlight in that book. But I can listen to personal development that lifts me up and serves other things that I need in my life, or a podcast. So maybe, try to find a way. If you're doing the weekly emails, cater your email to what people need about self-care. If you blog, cater it. If you're doing some Instagram stories a lot, do one thing every day in your Instagram story that caters to self-care for people. Get them interacting with you with it. But use tonight's call as inspiration for your own practice, but also use it as a way to reach out and network and fill your funnel with more people, because everybody needs self-care. There is literally not a single person in this world who would not benefit from self-care. So when you're talking about self-care, no one can say to you, I don't have time for that. I don't have money for that. I don't want to join your group because I don't need it. I have this. Like, literally everyone needs it. So this is a good talking point. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Jackie take it away. And I am super excited for what she has to share. Just listen and let it soak in.
Okay. Hey guys. So I got this idea, I don't know, it was end of November, early December. One of my friends at work is going to school for principalship, and she had to do some sort of PowerPoint or something with it for her school faculty on self-care for educators, which, if you know an educator or you are an educator, you know how crucially important that is, even in just the educator world alone. So I was talking to Lindsay about it, and then Lindsay told me she had a PowerPoint, and I totally, as soon as she said that, I remembered when she did that at her school. So I kind of looked at those and then added a lot of stuff on my own. I made a PowerPoint on Keynote for the first time in my life, so hopefully this goes well. Here we go. All right, let me share my screen. Desktop share. Okay. All right. You guys can all see that? Okay, good. All right. The importance of self-care. So first, what I would like you guys that are on the call, and if you're watching the recording, this is something you can just think about yourself. Right now, what are ways that you feel you take care of yourself? And I would like you to type 3 of them in the chat box, and I'll read some of them off. I can get to the chat box. There it is. Pedicure, journaling, gratitude journal, monthly therapy appointments, going to bed on time, accountability, taking a lunch every day, not to work through, workout, drinking water, alone time. That's really good. Bi-weekly mani and pedi, lashes, workout, prayer, listening to music, all really good things. Okay. And if there's more, that's fine. I will continue reading them in a bit. All right. Okay. So, hold on. Let me get rid of the chat box for right now. There we go. Okay. So self-care is any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. Sorry, you know what? I'm getting rid of that for right now. It's a simple concept, but it's something we often overlook as human beings. Good self-care is key to be an improved mood, have reduced anxiety, also key to a good relationship with yourself and with others. Oops. What is not self-care? So I found this while I was searching some things today, and I thought some of these things were interesting. So I think knowing what self-care isn't is also just as important. It's not something that you should be forcing yourself to do or something that you don't enjoy doing. It's not something that should take away from us. Self-care is not a selfish act. It's not only about considering our own needs, rather about knowing what we need to do in order to take care of ourselves, as well as being able to take care of others. If you don't take care enough of yourself, you won't be in the place to give to your loved ones. We talk about that a lot. And so in a few words, self-care is the key to living a balanced life. That was a quote that I found, and I thought that was kind of perfect. So I found there are 6, I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I found 6 benefits to self-care. One of them being better productivity. So when you learn to say no to things that overextend you and start to make time for things that matter more, you slow life down. So instead of saying yes to everything and then like your brain is frazzled, your life is frazzled, and you don't have time for any of the important things because you're doing everything for everybody else and you're not doing anything for yourself. So it kind of slows your life down into a good way, brings your goals into a sharper focus, and helps you concentrate on what you're doing. Improved resistance to disease. So there's evidence that most self-care activities put your body into a restful, rejuvenating mode. Therefore, it helps it to fortify your immune system. So therefore, it's keeping you healthy, which leads to the third one of better physical health. You know, when you take care of yourself better, you often have less colds, cases of the flu, upset stomachs, etc. You have less stress and a better immune system that can help you feel more physically able, stronger on the inside as well as the out. Enhance self-esteem. So when you regularly carve out time that's only about being good to yourself and meeting your own needs, you treat yourself like you matter and you have intrinsic value. You know, that's something we talk about a lot, and we find a lot of our clients and or prospective clients that they just don't have that belief in themselves and that self-esteem. And that's something we need as coaches as well, because we are also human beings. It can go a long way towards discouraging negative self-talk and your critical inner voice. Having increased self-knowledge. So practicing self-care also requires you to think about what you really like to do. Obviously, you're not going to want to do things to take care of yourself that you don't like doing. Like, I am not going to do self-care of hanging out with my friends at a bar if the bar scene is not my thing. That's not going to be enjoyable for me. Figure out what makes you feel passionate, inspired, having fun. Could even spark a change in your career. If we know there's a lot of people out there that can't stand their job, but they're doing it simply because it's a job. Thinking about things that are important to you or you're passionate about could even, change your career in life. And in that, in turn, is taking care of yourself because you're happier. And then you have more to give. We talk about this a lot. You cannot serve from an empty cup. So when you're good to yourself, often we think we're being selfish, but when you take care of yourself with all the resources that you have and you need, you're then able to take care of everybody else. Filling a bucket, you can't fill someone else's bucket if yours is empty. So I'm going to just briefly talk to you about what my 2019 looked like for me. Now, what sparked me doing this call as well was because 2019 was a year of hard for me, and it was a year of hard for me emotionally and mentally. And what I mean by that is it started off pretty well because I had finished breastfeeding my twins. So I honestly thought I was going to have all this time in the world for so many things, because if you've ever breastfed your kid or kids and or pumped, you know how much time consuming that can be. So once I was fully relieved of that, I felt that I was going to have all of this time, because I would pump 3 or 4 times at work. I would pump 3 or 4 times at home. Then we're cleaning all the things and feeding. It's a lot, right? So I started to do well. And I had an accountability partner, one I still have for waking up in the mornings, Brittany. Brittany has been texting me, and or I have now been texting her for the last almost year and a half, probably maybe year 2 or 3 months. Every morning, because she's one of the only people I know that get up as early as I do. And it went well. And then starting in February, it went downhill. I was really struggling getting out of bed, and I wasn't having that hard of a time. I mean, I am not telling you by any means I am not a morning person, but I couldn't get myself mentally to do it, even though I knew I had no other time or energy for the rest of the day. So, and it kept happening, and it happened for a good solid month and a half-ish. And I was talking to Lindsay about it and a couple other people. And then Lindsay had mentioned to me possibly it being anxiety, which was something that sounded weird. And didn't really make sense to me, because I've had anxiety before, but it also was for a situation that was completely different. So I looked it up and I showed some of the signs for it. I actually talked to a friend of mine that's a family doctor in my area and took a little quiz for him, and he said that I might as well. So I finally made an appointment to go see a family doctor, and I think it was the end of March, early April. And she felt as well that I had some anxiety. I literally had no mental energy to do anything. I didn't really want to work out. I didn't really want to eat healthy. I wasn't getting anything done at home or at school. I was literally doing the bare minimum to survive, basically, as a wife, as a mom, as a teacher, and as a human. And I knew something wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like me. I just didn't have the focus or the energy. And I was tired, god awful tired, way more than normal mom tired. So she also felt that I might have some anxiety. And I honestly thought that maybe it would just be something I get on temporary until I get back to my feet and go from there. So I started on a super low dose, wasn't really finding a difference. She raised it a little bit more, found a little bit of a difference, but still could use some room. And then the third dose finally worked. And I've been on that third dose since June or July, I think. And I take my medicine every day, and it's worked amazing. And ever since I've been on it, I've just been slowly adding things back in my life to take care of myself. So I've added back in working out every day, even though I had people in my life telling me it's okay to take rest days and take a break. You're a mom, you do this. And I knew like that just wasn't right. I needed to take care of myself in that way. So I slowly added that back in. I added the nutrition back in. I added back, doing well in my teaching life back in, and being a good wife and a mom at home and not feeling as overwhelmed, sort of thing. So that's like my year of 2019 was getting back to taking care of myself, so that way I could take care of all the other aspects in my life, including bringing back coaching into my life more actively than it had been. So here are some popular stressors that people get to kind of push self-care even more. So work, obviously, if any of you are not stay-at-home moms, your work outside of your home can be a stressor. Being a parent, being a military spouse, your marriage, or being in any relationship, family, friends, and any sort of life changes such as moving, a divorce or separation, pregnancy, or a new job. Those are all things that could cause us to have more of a need of self-care, and or could cause us to have more of a reason to not take care of ourselves because we have all of these things going on, and we feel that they are more important or are taking over of our life more. So I had this picture earlier, which I totally didn't realize I put on twice. And then when I opened the Keynote PowerPoint, I was like, oh. So if you look on Google, there's like a ton of different types of self-care, but these are the 4 like main ones. So there's physical, emotional, social, and spiritual. Physical, we all know, not only is it working out and getting that physical energy, but also resting your body, whether it's taking rest days or sleep, making sure you stretch before and after working out, that sort of thing. Then listening to your body, like when it doesn't feel well or it's way over sore, that kind of thing. Emotional is like the mental aspect of it. Because a lot of times you'll find it says mental instead of emotional. So making sure you take care of your stress, learning or using and making sure you have forgiveness and compassion for others, being kind, and just having that mature emotion mentality. So taking care of yourself mentally, which, we do with personal development. We encourage that, or gratitude, or I lost my train of thought on the other one I was going to say. And then social, like your friends and your family, as well as it could even be social media. So making sure you surround yourself with positive social media and get rid of the people that try to bring you down, and or just bring people down, because those are the negative Nancy's on your Facebook or your Instagram. Communicating well with other people, spending time together, like self-care doesn't just have to be doing something by yourself, like doing things with your friends, doing things with your family, doing things with your spouse, doing things with just your kids or one of your kids and not both kids. Setting boundaries for people. I know there are people in my family that like to step over toes and make me feel like my choices are not very good ones. And I try to set boundaries, or, just listen to what they have to say and move on. Otherwise it could completely, bring you down. And then spiritually doesn't necessarily have to mean, godly or religiously, but just having a sacred space, journaling. I know a lot of you said about journaling. That was something I used to do a lot when I was in middle school, high school, and even college. And that was a really, really good way of just venting like my feelings out. I don't really do that much anymore. I mean, maybe someday in the future I'll get back into it, but that was a thing that I went through and really enjoyed. Yoga, meditation, there's a lot of good apps out there for yoga and meditation. I did see a therapist when I was going through my divorce back in 2013, and there were some apps she had me try to like kind of calm my nerves down and that kind of thing. Being out in nature. So, there's all different ways to take care of yourself, not even just physically. I guess I personally would probably, healthy. I didn't even mention the nutrition for the physical. So self-care, so as Lindsay mentioned, like this is so important because we promote self-care like as our job, right? And our number one job as a human, not only as a coach, as a human, is to take care of yourself first. And our job as a coach is to connect with other people, and you want them to join you on your journey. Well, why would they want to join you if you're not showing up and taking care of yourself, but yet you want them to take care of themselves? How can you promote and share health and wellness in all aspects, whether it's mental health, physical health, spiritual health, social health, but you yourself aren't doing all things to keep yourself in check? How can you even do that? Like you can't, and people are not going to trust you and want to be with you, follow you on your journey if you're promoting all these things, but you yourself are not doing them. So things that you should be doing, because it's important to having to take care of yourself. You need to make yourself a priority before you make your clients a priority. You cannot be the best coach for your ideal clients or your clients if you're not doing all the things. You need sleep. You need good nutrition, 80-20 lifestyle. Like, don't just show all the good, show the bad too. Show you are a real human, but at the same time, you're making choices. Stay physically active. Have accountability. I mentioned to you earlier, like that was something I knew I needed. I needed someone to text me and make sure I got my butt out of bed. And Brittany did that for a good solid year for me. She would text me first. And now most of the time I'm the one text her first. I got up a little earlier than she does this year. I was not getting up at 4:30 last year. So having accountability has helped the both of us. There have been times where she's overslept and there have been times where I've overslept. And just having that person, making sure you're getting out of bed and doing what you know you need to do, get you into the good habit of taking care of yourself. Having affirmations and gratitude. I know a lot of us do gratitude journals, like Start Today journal or that kind of thing, or they just write things and put them on your mirror. See your doctor when needed. If Lindsay hadn't mentioned that to me, like I never would have thought of trying to see my doctor for that. Like it just didn't cross my mind. And maybe someone else would have mentioned it, but who knows where I would be if I didn't check that out with my doctor. I know some of you already do therapy on your own, and someday in my life, I would love to bring that back into my life, not because I have a lot of problems, but I think therapy is good for everybody because it's so good to have such a biased person give you their opinion and advice when they don't know everyone else inside of your life. I think it's just super, super helpful. And it performed a lot of clarity for me and helped me figure some things out while I was going through my divorce 7 years ago. Another thing I thought of was, if you think about it, the 4 vital behaviors, 2 of them involve self-care. The product, so making sure you are drinking your shakes, using your nutrition plan, and following a workout plan. All of those are taking care of yourself. And personal development, taking care of your mind and your emotions. And it can even I can't talk. I'm sorry. It can also talk about, or it can help you with taking care of your social aspects, depending on what you're reading about. If it's not business related, but it's helping you with problems you have with your family or your coworkers or whatever, still personal development of some sort. Our company stands for self-care, so you should be standing for self-care as well, not just for your clients. Showing up every day on social media on how you are taking care of yourself or how it has helped you will in turn help your business. And like Lindsay had mentioned, like, talk about how you're lacking in an area of self-care and what you are going to do or would like to do to grow that area and make it better, and invite people to join you. Doing all of the things will grow your business and in turn will help make more money, and of course will be helping more lives. So if you've not been doing true self-care for you, or maybe in your SP or your coaches feel are in need of this, but you feel you're doing pretty well, which I know some people are doing really with it and some people are not, I want you to come up with a self-care action plan to do for yourself. So chat with your success partner, chat with your PS coaches, your accountability partner, who you come up one for themselves or yourself if it's a struggle, because you deserve it. Your family deserves it, and your clients deserve it. You need to do it for yourself first, and then do it for yourself second. So here we're just some examples that literally on a piece of paper, you could draw 4 boxes of the 4 areas self-care. And I like in the middle how it says my tribe of helpers, or if you look on the right, it says people I can reach out to for support. So basically people you know, your accountability people, or people you know that will listen or help. It's so important to know the people you have in your life as well. So this could kind of maybe go vision on how you can take care of yourself this year. Practice makes perfect. So that's saying we use for everything we do in our daily life, right? And same goes for self-care. It's not easy. Actually, it's something you have done or something you haven't done in a long time. But when you keep doing it, it becomes easier. So right now, chat box, I would like you to type one thing or one area you plan to change this week to add to your self-care that you are currently struggling in. Oh, crud. Where's the chat box? Did I lose it already? Oh, there. Work out again daily. Good one. Nutrition. Portion size. Woohoo, Lindsay. I know for me, I do a lot. I've been doing really well at doing business personal development, and I add in like personal development for myself as well outside of the business, because I think that's really important. Gotten away from affirmations and gratitude practice, so I recommitted those. That is something I have for today's journal that I really would like to begin working on, which I think would be really for my so I think that was my last slide. So that's all I really have. I hope it's somewhat helpful. I know you guys know a lot of this stuff and you've heard a lot of this stuff, but like Lindsay said, like, in order for us to be the best coaches, like, our number one thing we need to do is take care of ourselves and show other people that we're taking care of ourselves, because they're not going to want a coach that's doing absolutely nothing, putting all the things taking care of themselves. So anything else you want to add or ask for that, but I hope that was okay.
Thank you. I think that was really good. And I like how you actually had us think about what we do and don't do, because sometimes I think we just count our workout as our self-care, and it is, But just like with personal development, like my personal development can't all be business focused, because that's only business development, and personal development is all of the things going on in my life. Maybe this month my personal development's about motherhood. Maybe next month it's going to be focused on my business. Maybe the month after that it's focused on relationships or self-confidence, or, whatever. And so we need to remember that just because we push play every day doesn't necessarily mean we're practicing self-care. Maybe once in a while, not pushing play is self-care. Several days this week, Jackie would text me and I would say, you know what? I just don't have it in me today. I was physically and mentally exhausted from Disney World and then going back to work. So I think I worked out 4 days out of 7 this week. I call it a win. So you got to remember, self-care doesn't necessarily mean you force yourself to hit play. And it also doesn't mean, I know I've already preached this once in the team page, but I feel like with all these new programs launching at similar times, it's important to remember self-care doesn't mean that you do every single new thing that hits Beachbody. Sometimes self-care is me saying, you know what? Bar is just not my thing. I wish it was, because it looks awesome. It looks so fun. But when I do it, I don't feel good doing it. And it's not because it's pushing me physically. It's because I don't get it. And so rather than me sign up for 60 days of doing something that doesn't serve me, self-care in this case is me saying, you know what? That program's awesome. I'm going to talk about it because I know there's people in my pipeline who are going to be interested in it. But for me, it's not the program I want to wake up and push play every day. And that's okay.
It's saying,
yeah. And being okay with it.
So,
yep. All right. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And thank you so much, Jackie. This was awesome. Next week, we are going to plug more into the business side of things and talk down about some nitty and gritty strategies to start moving our businesses forward in 2020. So be looking forward to that. Love you guys. Have a good week.